Hi guys, it's Ella. So I am filming my May wrap-up actually on time, which is pretty shocking considering that I haven't done a wrap-up in a couple of months. I read 12 books in the month of May. I did listen to most of them on audio just because it was finals and I have to drive far, so it just makes life easier. I'm not gonna get wordy, I'm just gonna show you what I read. First, I read Landline by Rainbow Rowell. This is a book about, it's kind of magical realism. It's about a woman who is very much into her career and her husband takes their kids to his parents' house for Christmas and she stays and she calls him on the landline, but she gets the him from the past and she kind of remembers why she fell in love with him and all of that. So I thought it was really cute. One thing about Rainbow Rowell that I have to say is she writes characters like nobody else. It doesn't matter what age they are, it doesn't matter who they are so incredibly relatable that I don't think I've read any other characters that are as relatable as Rainbow Rowell. So I did give this 5 out of 5 stars. It was really, really good. Next, I read Into the Still Blue by Veronica Rossi. This is book 3 in the Under the Never Sky trilogy. So this completes the trilogy. I did like this book. Probably not as much as the first two, unfortunately. My favorite was the first one. While this did wrap up the end, I felt like the ending was a little bit abrupt. And so it was, it was okay. I think I gave it 3 stars. But I do really love these characters and Veronica Rossi's writing. So I did enjoy it. Next, I read The Adoration of Jenna Fox by Mary E. Pearson. This is the same author that wrote The Kiss of Deception. This is her first trilogy. This is book 1 in the Jenna Fox trilogy. I was not particularly impressed. This is about a society where they have these things that they can inject into your body that will correct issues that you're having, but there's weird legislation. And while it sounds kind of good and interesting, it was interesting. It just, I don't know. I wasn't particularly impressed. I do have book 2 and 3. I may pick them up at some point. It's very science fiction-y, dystopian-y almost, a little bit, but it's, I don't know. Something was just off with it and I wasn't a huge fan. I think I gave this 2 out of 5 stars. Next, I read Idols by Margaret Stoll. This is book 2 in the Icons. I think it might be a duology, but I'm not sure. I think I gave this 2 stars. This is a science fiction novel about aliens coming down and they implant these things called icons that have electric power in them, and there's kids that can go towards these things. It's so convoluted and confusing. Yeah. I was not a huge fan. The ending was very abrupt. It did not feel like anything was wrapped up. This was a dystopian novel, but the government didn't really get resolved. Unless I'm missing something and there's a 3rd book, because I can't find any information anywhere to see if this is a duology or a trilogy. I don't know. I wasn't impressed. Next, I read Red Glove and Black Heart by Holly Black. This is book 2 and book 3 in the Curse Workers trilogy. And the funny thing about this is obviously a paperback. This is a hardcover, and these are new covers, but I have the first book, which is White Cat, in the old paperback cover. Yeah. Anyway, this is about curse workers. It's magic, people that can kind of do weird funky stuff, but it's illegal. I gave both of these 4 stars. The main character isn't necessarily all that likable, and I felt like the love interest was a little bit funky at times, but I did enjoy these. And Holly Black's writing, I've pretty much for the most part enjoyed Holly Black's writing. It is a little bit unique, and I think these are her first books besides Spiderwick Chronicles, so just fair warning. They were good. I think literally now, besides Spiderwick Chronicles, I've read everything of Holly Black's. Next, I read Where She Went by Gail Forman. This is book 2 in the If I Stay duology. This is from Adam's point of view, and this is, I think, a couple years after If I Stay. I think I may have liked it more than If I Stay. There was less flashbacks. I'm not a huge fan of flashbacks in books unless they're really well done. And so I think I gave this 4.5 out of 5 stars. I really did like it, and it wraps up the story nicely. I did especially like the ending and kind of how, like the very last page essentially, or like 2 pages, I thought that was on point. Definitely really, really cute. Definitely recommend. And I hope they're making this into a movie, right? If anybody knows, can you let me know down below? Because that would be awesome. Next, I read The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. She's the author of the Jenna Fox trilogy. This is book 1 in the Remnant Chronicles. I did like this. It was a little hard to get into in the beginning. I did guess who the assassin is versus who the prince was, which I was a little iffy there towards the end because it's written in that way that you're not exactly sure. But I did end up guessing in the end. I did really like the story. I am interested to see where it's going to go from here. Just because the ending, I mean, what was that? What was that? And this is definitely, I would say, a good fantasy. It definitely is a good first book in a trilogy, so I look forward to seeing where that goes. I think the second book is coming out here pretty soon, if I am not mistaken. Next, I read Order of Darkness by Philippa Gregory. This is book 1 in the Changeling, I think, trilogy series. This is about a secret society that it's a historical fiction, takes place in the 1400s, and it is about kind of an order of monks, but not really, that investigates paranormal things. I know. Excellent explanation. The 4 characters in this book are all very interesting and very unique. The writing is very much accessible, even though it is, the book that does take place in the 1400s. It was a little bit frustrating at times just because of the way that women were treated in the 1400s, and that is depicted in this. I mean, there isn't any violence or anything, but it was a little frustrating there towards the end. No spoilers though, so we'll leave it at that. I did give this book 4 out of 5 stars. I really did enjoy it. Oh, in case you don't know, Philippa Gregory writes a lot of historical fiction, adult historical fiction, so she knows her stuff. Next, I read a book that I personally really liked. I feel like gets a lot of crap on BookTube. Like, people hate it for some reason, and I really enjoyed it, surprisingly so. And that's Unbreakable by Cami Garcia. Cami Garcia is one of the authors of the Beautiful Creatures series, and now Dangerous Creatures, I guess. But this is about a group of kids who find out that they are part of an order, part of the Legion. Legion, book 1, see that? But kids find out that they are part of the Legion. The Legion is a group of people that fights ghosts, dangerous ghosts. So it's creepy, okay? If you are not into creepy reads, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it because there is a lot of ghosts. It is a little bit graphic as far as blood and gore and all of that. So, fair warning. There is a little bit of a love triangle, but not really. But I really legitimately enjoyed it. I don't know why this book gets so much crap. I did also read the second book in the series, which is Unmade, if I'm not mistaken. And it's just the same, essentially, cover except blue. And I also enjoyed that one. Unfortunately, Cami Garcia, I think, has put the project on hold. What? So what, we're supposed to just wait 3 years for the next book? That's crap. But I gave Unbreakable 5 out of 5 stars. Next, I read a book that I'm pretty sure everybody and their mom who's interested in reading has already read, and that is The Maze Runner by James Dashner. I did see the movie before I read the book. And yes, some of the things did make more sense in the movie than they did in the book. And the maze looked nothing like it did in the movie. I guess I should say in the movie it didn't look anything like it did in the book, or at least I don't think it did. Neither did the monsters or whatever. I did like the book. I do want to continue on with the series just because it's kind of intriguing, but also a little bit creepy, a little bit action. So 4 out of 5 stars for this. I really did enjoy it. And finally, I read a book that I'm pretty sure, again, everybody who is going to read it already has read it, and that's Pendemonium by Lauren Oliver. This is book 2 in the Delirium trilogy, and this one was a little bit weird for me. I did like it. I was a little bit shaky in the beginning just because I felt like I really didn't care. Like I couldn't connect the first one to this one, and it got all jumbled and confused and stuff. So once I got into it, I really did like it, so I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It was enjoyable. Alright, so my battery is dying, and that is my wrap up. If you have any questions or if you have any thoughts about any of these books, definitely let me know. And I hope you have a good night. Bye! In the Idols. No, this is book 2 in the Icons. The guy's point of view. What's his name? I'm so awful at this. What is his name? Is Adam the guy's name? We'll go with it. We'll go with Adam. Just because there was less... Bleh.